Man, comics suck now, don't they? Let's talk about that. So, with the realization of new Spider-Man comics being out and just new comics in general, what I have come to the realization of is that Spider-Man and just comics in general don't have the same luster that they had. Now, I think there could be a few reasons for this. One, people don't have the time and or attention span to read comics anymore. Um, I think it and I mean, people gotta work a lot now in order to survive. And they don't have time to it's easier to consume a show or movie or listen to an audiobook or watch a podcast than to sit down and actually read a book or a comic book. So, comics in that sense are not doing so hot. So, I think that is a big part of it. But that's not the full picture because people have been having to work since the dawn of time, and comics in its heyday, like the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, were like peak. They were like the main form of storytelling for superheroes. And so I think the problem is that a lot of these stories just don't feel like how they used to feel. Because when you've done everything, you lose the luster. Like, hear me out here. How many times can you really do Crisis on Infinite Earths without it feeling forced? Like, DC needs to sell comic books. Oh, look! Here here we are, Crisis on Infinite Earths. What are they on now? 7, 6, 7 or something? I haven't like here two 2018 for Spider-Man was crazy. I think that was the year that they had 2 annuals. 2 annuals, I think. Now, usually there is 1 annual, and that's probably the highest selling book that they put out every single year. So, what made me realize that this is all changing for the worse is the Spectacular Spider-Man run. For the longest time, it was just the Spectacular Spider-Man, whether it was Miles, Peter, there was that short run where it was Ben Riley. But now what I've come to notice is that the Spectacular Spider-Men, while it is technically a fresh take, what I've come to notice is it's synergy. Okay, they're not doing this because it's unique. They're doing this because the video games are doing it now. So I say all of this to say that unfortunately, the popularity of movies is seeping into the comics. That comics cannot be a unique thing any longer. Like, did anybody who is an avid comic reader notice um that like Batman's different, Superman's different, Spider-Man is definitely different. Even like some of the more like obscure characters, like Green Arrow is different. The Flash is different. Why? Because they've all gotten live action adaptations within the last 20 years. And whether people want to admit this or not, that stuff seeps into the comics and it stays. And I think this is also happening in video games too. I mean, look, in in Spider-Man PS4, Peter had a unique look. And then what happened? Tom Holland took off. Now, I'm not blaming Tom Holland, but Tom Holland's Spider-Man took took off. And they wanted synergy with with the MCU, so they made Peter look like Tom Holland. For anybody that says that he does not look like Tom Holland, he looks like Tom Holland. Okay? Alright. So, I say all of that to say that instead of the comics being the ones to set trends, it's the movies that are setting the trends that comics and games now have to follow, which I think is unfortunate. And I'm saying that from a standpoint of me loving both Peter and Miles as characters, and I love them as a team. I'm not saying that because I don't like them as a team. It just feels very forced. The fact that um they're already a team in the video games. Miles is probably the biggest superhero out out there currently in terms of movies besides like Batman. I mean, no one's ever gonna beat Batman. But the Spider-Verse movies make bank. They make bank. They make a lot of money. And so I think the thing that I have to think of is that these these companies want synergy. Why? I'll tell you why. The reason why is so that they can make the most money, and it's all about brand appeal. Because the thing that I think of is like if Miles had not taken off, this wouldn't have happened. But because Miles took off and became so popular, now they just dedicate all of their time. And like I said, I don't mind it, but they dedicate all of their time to making Miles be the center of like everything. Which, like I said, I don't mind that. But you have to think of it in this, kind of a way. The way that you gotta think of it is that it's all about the synergy. Because if you want to get people to read the comics, like say that you're a fan of the like Insomniac games, right? And then you want to pick up a comic book because you liked the video game, right? And you're a casual fan. You're being programmed to expect that Miles is going to be in the Spider-Man story that you are going to be picking up. And it's not the fans' fault for thinking that. That's just how it is. That's just that's just empirical reality now. Is that that's what fans are going to expect, and that's fine. But that's why they are doing this is so that there is synergy between every single brand. And I think personally that it's ruining comics. Don't be shocked if comics is like a dead medium in like 10 to 15 years, which sucks because that's how I got into all of this stuff. That's how I got to learn and love all of these characters. If you agree with me, or even if you don't, feel free to comment. Make sure to like and subscribe. I love you guys.